Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter-Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Tuesday drama with episodes of Let George Do It, I Was a Communist for the FBI, Mr. President, People Are Funny, that's not really drama, but that's, fun, and Superman. That's all coming up on this Tuesday, 23rd day of July, 205th day of the year, 161 days till we get to 2025. William Austin Burt patented the first typewriter on this date in 1829. Ford Motor Company sold its first car on this date in 1903. And in 1904, the first ice cream sold at the Louisiana Purchase Exposition in St. Louis. 1926, Fox Film bought the patents of the Movie-Tone sound system for recording sound onto film. In 1962, Telstar relayed the first live transatlantic television signal, part of which was a press conference by President Kennedy.
I understand that part of today's press conference is being relayed by the Telstar communications satellite to viewers across the Atlantic, and this is another indication of the extraordinary world in which we live. This satellite must be high enough to carry messages from both sides of the world, which is, of course, a very essential requirement for peace. And I think this understanding, which will inevitably come from the speedier communications, is bound to increase the well-being and security of all people here and those across the oceans. So we're glad to participate in this operation developed by private industry, launched by government in admirable cooperation.
Now, due to its non-geosynchronous orbit, Telstar's availability for transatlantic signals limited to the 20 minutes in each 2.5-hour orbit when the satellite passed over the Atlantic Ocean. In Detroit on this date in 1967, one of the worst riots in U.S. history on 12th Street in the predominantly African-American inner city.
On July 23rd, 1967, Detroit was hit by a riot. We said it couldn't happen, but it did, and the nation was shocked.
At 10:56 this morning, I received a wire from Governor Romney officially requesting that federal troops be dispatched to Michigan. I'm sure that the American people will realize that I take this action with the greatest regret.
Audio from the trailer of an unproduced film, Disturbance on 12th Street. 43 people were killed, 342 injured, about 1,400 buildings were burned. In Cleveland on this date in 1968, a violent shootout between a black militant organization led by Ahmed Evans and the Cleveland Police Department occurred. During the shootout, a riot began that lasted for 5 days.
You can trace these so-called riots back every time to unmet social needs, to the untended increasing blight and decay of the core area, to the problem of joblessness and homelessness, of the not just being poor, but the kind of way of being poor that today it is not like it was once years ago, so that they were surrounded by their own poverty and had no standards with which to compare. But today to be poor is like to be in a cage in which you're in prison, but you can look out and you can see the freedom and the realization of the kinds of things that being an American has come to mean.
Mayor Carl Stokes, speaking prior to his election 1 year earlier, practically predicting the riots. In 1982, on this date, actor Vic Morrow, 2 child actors killed on the set of Twilight Zone, the movie, when a helicopter spun out of control. And it was on this date in 1984, Vanessa Williams became the first Miss America to resign when she surrendered her crown after nude photos of her appeared in Penthouse magazine.
I wish I could retain my title as Miss America. However, the potential harm to the pageant and the deep division that a bitter fight may cause has convinced me that I must relinquish my title as Miss America.
not only was that something that's never happened within the pageant organization, it was this huge dichotomy, and it couldn't be any more polar opposite of two images. You've got Miss America, who is angelic, and you've got naked pictures, which is salacious.
Audio courtesy of the Oprah Winfrey Network. In 1992, a Vatican commission led by Joseph Ratzinger established necessary to limit rights of homosexual people and non-married couples. In 1995, the comet Hale-Bopp discovered and visibly seen with the naked eye nearly a year later. In 2015, NASA announced the discovery of Kepler 452b, sometimes nicknamed Earth 2.0 or Earth's cousin, by the Kepler Space Observatory. Among those passing away on this date in history, the 18th President of the United States, Ulysses S. Grant, Mexican revolutionary Pancho Villa, aviation pioneer Glenn Curtiss, film director D.W. Griffin, actor Montgomery Clift, actor Van Heflin, pilot Eddie Rickenbacker, Daniel Shore, another fine journalist, singer-songwriter Amy Winehouse, and physicist-astronaut Sally Ride. Birthdays on this date include Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie, character actor Arthur Treacher, baseball's Pee Wee Reese, Larry Bud Melman on The Letterman Show, Calvert DeForest, game show host performer Bert Convey, baseball's Don Drysdale, retired talk show host Don Imus, and singer-songwriter Tony Joe White, Polk Salad Annie, his big hit. He also wrote Rainy Night in Georgia, although some of the people born on this date.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
From Deliverance and Apple's Way, Ronnie Cox, no relation, 86 today. The 1973 hit Rock On, sung by David Essex, he is 77 today. From Ferris Bueller's Day Off, he's a righteous dude. Edie McClurg is 79 today. He won an Emmy as Woody on Cheers. Woody Harrelson is 63. From Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, Charisma Carpenter is 54. Bluegrass singer-fiddler Alison Krauss is 53. Actor Marlon Wayans is 52. From Destiny's Child, Michelle Williams is 45. The Vampire Diaries' Paul Wesley is 42. From How I Met Your Mother and Heartbeat, Celeste Thorne is 40. And the man who was Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe, is 35. Those are just a few of the people celebrating the 23rd day of August. No, July. It is still July. 23rd of July is their birthday, if this is your birthday.
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say, Happy birthday to you.
We get underway here on Classic Radio Theater with an episode of Let George Do It, starring Bob Bailey, Virginia Gregg. 73 years ago, July 23rd, 1951. Drop dead.
There's an issue cutting through the partisanship in Congress. It's AM radio. The overwhelming majority of legislators, Democrats and Republicans, support a bill to keep AM radio in cars. But time is running out. Text AM to 52886 and ask Congress to bring this bill to the floor for a vote now. AM radio is too important to let this moment pass us by.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Now on this Tuesday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, Bob Bailey, Virginia Gregg. In the West Coast program, Let George Do It. From 73 years ago, July 23rd, 1951, Drop Dead.
Personal notice, danger's my stock and trade. If the job's too tough for you to handle, you got a job for me, George Valentine. Write full details.
A few years ago, a new slogan or slang expression was thrust on the vocabulary of the American public. You remember it. It came in very handy when the wife wanted you to clean out the attic, or your brother-in-law put the bite on you for a 10-spot. It was, quote, drop dead, unquote. Of course, it never did you any good, but it was better than 23 skidoo or go jump in the lake. If you listen carefully, you may get some tips on how to use the expression with more effective results. It all started with a phone call at George Valentine's office by a little fellow who was just full of questions. Oh, let's see if George has any of the answers.
Don't you want a story?
Hold it, will you? Who is this?
Jerry Yule, I said. I'm a writer and I have a story.
Yeah, well, this is George Valentine, and I'm not a publisher.
Please listen to me. You've got to meet me right away. Captain Charlie's Neptune Palace, the old waterfront district.
Captain's who's what?
I live here. It's an old hotel. I'm collecting material. But this particular story, I'm afraid I don't know how it ends, and that's why I need you.
Sounds to me like it goes around in a circle.
I want to be there when it ends, don't you understand? That's why I'm calling you instead of the police.
Police? What kind of a story is it?
Well, it concerns a mysterious stranger and a seaman who chews tobacco. And mostly, of course, the parrot.
The what?
The parrot, a green and orange parrot. Ordinarily, I don't like parrots myself, such mangy, squawking creatures, but Captain Charlie, of course, will...
A green and orange parrot. Now, look, friend, if you...
Meet me in 15 minutes at the foot of Tide Street, please. You don't want anyone else to get their hands on this story, do you?
Is it always so foggy down here?
Well, only in the summer.
Captain Charlie's Neptune Palace. Quite an ornate old place, isn't it?
Oh, the rooms are empty now, most of them, and half of it is locked off, of course. It tips like a one-legged man there where the pilings underneath are sinking. The commercial docks went away and left this district, you see, when they built the new piers farther down.
I know.
Beer and sandwiches. Step into the kitchen and make your own. Rooms 50 cents. Quite a come-down from the kind of hotel it must have been once.
Oh, but there's no transient trade, you understand, Miss Brooks. Just the ones Captain Charlie asked to stay permanently.
Like writers who specialize in foggy stories.
Now, just be patient, Mr. Valentine. I want you to understand this setting, that's all. Its mood, its character. It's strange
Shut
yet...
the door.
Oh, hello.
You want some coffee? Pour your own.
Oh, don't look at me, friend. Captain Charlie, I suppose.
No, this is Morton.
Sure, I'm not crazy. I just look that way.
The business cards, menus, and wedding announcements. That's his line.
What?
Why, he used to do the menus on the Lusitania, no less.
Been sunk ever since.
He prints Charlie's stationery for him. Not that Charlie ever uses any, but that's how he took him in.
Where's the draft coming from? Who opened the door?
That's all right, Sadie. Go back to your knitting.
Oh, that's Sadie. She used to own the place back in the gay days when it was Sadie's Neptune Palace.
Sure, but Captain Charlie never had the heart to throw her out either. Who are your friends, Yule?
Oh, never mind us.
Who's down there?
All we care about is a story. Not that we'll ever get it.
Yeah, well, now, Morton here, he was in it.
Oh, no, I'm not. Charlie gave me a check for the $25. Don't mix me up in your fiction. Parrots. Ha! Bird feathers.
I said, who's down there? You, Captain?
Look, Buster, for the last time, would you tell us what this is all about?
Come on. Through here. The old bar room. I'll tell you all right.
Well, and who might your friends be, Mr. Yule? No matter, the welcome's always out. But you know what I've been here sitting and thinking, me and Limey here?
Right, Skipper and me been thinking.
Be quiet.
Right, Skipper.
The next thing this hotel needs is a rubber plant. I remember in Bombay once, I seen the most lovely rubber plant.
Hey, wait a minute, I wanted to tell these people about last night.
Oh, that. Well, now, I don't blame you. Last night, young lady, I bought the most lovely green parrot that any man ever saw. Do you know this morning
Captain, would you mind sticking with last night? What is it? What happened last night?
He told you, Governor, he bought a parrot.
No. But a story should begin at the beginning. And Mr. Valentine, the very first thing was $25. That's what woke me up.
What?
Right. I woke you all up to borrow it, see? Only he didn't have it, and neither did Sadie, so I had to break the lock on Morton's room and dig it out of his stuff. That's on account of the skipper there was a little short in the cash register.
Made Morton sore, too. Made all of you sore.
Oh, not me, Skipper.
Nobody appreciates a good parrot, young lady, but I do, and I bought him. Had to scrape up a whole $100. That's the story. But I made it, and I bought him. Limey, run fetch the bird. Show the people.
Right, Skipper, whatever you say.
I'll give you a hand in case he talks back.
Yule, is that all there is to it? Just that the captain bought a bird?
Mr. Valentine, the stranger. Now, let me tell you about him. The man he bought the bird from.
The mysterious stranger.
Now, don't look at me that way. He was a foreigner of some sort. He was a Hindu or Sikh or something, one of those big fellas with a beard and a turban. But a sailor, and he and Charlie gibbered away at a great rate in some heathen tongue.
Oh, now, look, friend.
He wanted to get rid of that bird, the Sikh did. Act as if he was afraid of him. That's why all the fuss about the money. He was so anxious to get paid and get out. And when he left a running.
Well?
Here, now wait.
Here he is. Aren't he a ducky, though?
Careful there, Limey. Careful he don't slip off your shoulder. He's taking quite a fancy to Limey here, you know that?
So that's the parrot.
Isn't he the most lovely bird you ever saw?
Well, I wouldn't exactly say...
Oh, Limey's going to clean him up a bit. You know how it is. But here, let me show you. This is a piece of resistance. Now, come on, baby. Say it. Speak out for the people, baby.
Fine bird. He talks you.
That's a baby. That's a baby. Talk right up like you did to the heathen. Speak out, baby. Speak out.
Drop dead, drop dead, drop dead. Drop dead?
Isn't he the most lovely thing you ever heard?
Drop dead. That does it.
Valentine, wait. Wouldn't it interest you if I told you that I took a walk this morning just before I called you and that I found the Sikh, that heathen sailor who was so afraid and so anxious to get rid of the bird? And that the poor man was just lying there in an alley, dead.
Now, wait a minute. That man didn't drop dead. He was rolled. Look at his pocket. See for yourself. Slugged and rolled, that's all.
Yeah, you're right, Lieutenant. Only whoever hit him tapped him a little too hard, Chuck.
It's happened more than once down here.
But don't you think it's interesting that...
And never mind that Eye of the Idol mystery magazine stuff either, Mr. Yule. What I want to know is why you didn't report this to the police quicker.
But here in the alley, I knew no one would find him.
Besides which, a beard and a turban. You don't even know he's the same guy you saw last night.
I think he is.
There's a whole shipload of these birds in port. Can you tell them apart? Routine, that's all. Routine case, and you got to clutter it up. Big mystery. Okay, boys, where's that wagon?
Well, Mr. Yule?
I wrote a story about one of these fellas.
Hey, wait a minute. What are you doing? Johnson will cut your gizzard out if you touch that body. You're in enough trouble as it is.
Let go of me. The turban. Here, hold that flashlight.
Oh, brother.
There. You see? I told you it was the same man.
Whoever rolled the sailor just wasn't so bright about where he'd carry his money, huh?
60, 70.
Here, give me that. Yeah, it's the $100, all right. No, I'll keep it. Only so what? This still doesn't mean the parrot had anything to do with it.
Hey, Mr. Valentine, look at this. Did you ever see an Oriental who chewed tobacco?
What? A plug. Okay, so there's been somebody around here lately who chews tobacco, but... Oh, yeah, I remember. You said on the phone something about a seaman who chews tobacco.
Yes, a big fellow, but an American seaman.
Well, where did he creep in? Now, look, Buster, you'd better spill the rest of what you know fast.
I've told you everything, honestly, I have. He was just a seaman, that's all. I didn't get much of a look at him, but this morning when I woke up, he was peering in my window. And when I shouted, he ran. I came out to look around. That's when I found the body. And then I ran.
Well, that's a good idea.
Mr. Valentine.
All right, you too, Doc.
Miss Brooks is still back in the car. You will out of the other way. Tell Johnson I went to get her, will you, or some other lie?
What? But I...
No, you stay there and hold hands with Johnson.
Hey, Valentine.
See you later. I'm going to write a story.
George, remember? He said that man in the turban seemed so anxious to get rid of the
Take
bird.
it easy, Angel. Hey, Captain. Captain Charlie.
This is a crazy, strange place, isn't it? That captain gives me the jitters.
Never mind. I don't want to see him anyway. Limey's the one who'll talk for us. A weasel if I ever saw one.
But why? What can he tell you? What is it you're trying
Here we are, through here. Just check the information we've already got, Brooksy. Yeah, I'd like to weed out some of Yule's weird notions. He's about stupid enough to think that bird is some sort of weird supernatural...
George.
Relax, Angel. Up at the head of the stairs, that's all. Come on.
Speak of the devil.
Yeah. Something at the bottom of the stairs, too.
Limey. It's Limey. He's dead.
Drop dead. Drop dead.
If your name is George Valentine, you don't believe in the kind of story that has a parrot in it. And when the parrot says drop dead, people drop dead. The only trouble is they do. First, a foreign sailor who sold the bird, and now the next man that the bird took a liking to, Limey. Yes, Limey is just about as dead as the sailor was.
Who's going to be murdered next, George?
Oh, Brooksy, cut it out,
But
would you?
Limey didn't just fall down the stairs.
It's a dark stairway. It could have happened.
Only you doubt it.
Yeah, I guess he was dead before he fell. But a guess isn't good enough, is it?
It's also unbelievable, all these crazy characters.
There's another
and-
explanation of some kind. You want to bet it's nice and simple?
No.
Okay, maybe not. But for instance, why is the parrot important? Why was that mangy captain so anxious to buy him in the first place?
And why is Mr. Ewell so interested?
I get the idea. So run out and get the police, will you?
Well, what are you going to do?
I want to see who's around, Angel. Mostly upstairs.
Well, the bird is, for one.
Yeah, I know. He hopped off down the hall. See you later.
All right, George.
You sure fell all right, Buster. Well, so who pushed you? Or slugged you first? Who?
Get him off me. Help!
What the? It's Sadie. Sadie.
Get him off that awful thing.
Oh, what?
Get out that window. Go on, shoot.
All right. Just a parrot, that's all.
Just of all the ugly, mean,
All right, take it
screeching-
easy. He's out the window now, huh? Sitting there on the kitchen roof like he was real proud of himself. Only what happened?
Hopped through here across my face. I was sound asleep. I told Captain Charlie I wouldn't stay here if he kept that bird. I never allowed parrots when it was my hotel. This was a respectable place.
Sure. But look, Sadie, did you hear any noise out by the stairs a while ago? Maybe about half an hour ago?
No. Why should I? Everybody's been out, except that awful creature. I heard them go. Why?
Strip it. Only tell me something, Sadie. How long have you lived here?
40 years now, I'd say, off and on, barring a couple of marriages. But I always come back. Oh, my lands, I wouldn't know any other place to live. None of us would.
All been here for years with Captain Charlie, huh?
Well, of course. Except that Ewell, naturally. He's recent. We're all sort of has-beens, but the captain, he keeps us all under his wing. He's a wonderful man. So generous, honest. That was what you wanted to ask about, wasn't it?
Yeah, Captain Charlie.
Ask anybody in the district about Captain Charlie. He's
Okay.
nothing bad about anybody here, except for that bird.
Yeah. Well, I better get him off that roof.
Well, don't you bring him back in here. Won't have that thing screaming at me.
Oh, be quiet, Sadie. Somebody else trying to get him off that roof, too. Very popular bird. No, stay there. I can make it around the ledge. Just stay in your room.
Easy does it, boy. I'll be up there and get you in just a minute now. Keep the big trap shut, will you? Less noise now, that's the stuff.
Wouldn't you know? A seaman.
Now we got you, baby.
Would have been easier to climb up with a ladder.
What?
Bird watching society. You always chew tobacco when you go parrot hunting?
Beat it, will you, buddy? I don't want no trouble.
I don't blame you. Not on a slippery roof.
Stay out of it, Mac.
Hey, don't reach for that bird. I want to talk to you.
I ain't the type.
Stay where you are, I said.
Drop dead.
Hold still, you blast.
Yeah, now look what you did. That's the kitchen flue he's climbing into. Now we can all have fun getting him out.
Yeah, well, let him stay there.
Forget him. You're the one I want. There's a little matter of people dropping dead.
No,
to
you
talk.
don't, Mac. I had enough. I don't want no trouble. This is where I came
Now,
here.
don't try that. Hey, you.
So long, sucker.
Look out. You'll slip.
Drop dead.
Valentine, you're the one.
Oh, stop it, Johnson. Drink your coffee.
For everybody here, folks. Help
The
yourselves.
seaman isn't dead, Lieutenant. His skull wasn't fractured.
So we gotta wait for hospital reports before we can get him to talk.
Johnson, for the 10th time, leave me alone, will you? Go solve your 2 murders. Have you checked all these people on when they last saw Limey?
Yeah, we checked and double-checked and still haven't found anything.
Okay, then leave me alone. I'll drink my coffee and think about it.
Sure. First, you pocket $100 and run. Then you find something but won't say what it is. Then you...
Johnson.
What kind of an idea did that seaman give you? What you got up your sleeve?
Well, break up this picnic and maybe you'll find out.
But you... Oh, all right, everybody, get out of here. There's a genius working on a story. That's all for now. Break it up.
George.
All right, they've gone now. So come here, brace me, Angel. Then you can beat it,
Brace
too.
you? What in the name... George, get off of that stove.
It's a big one. Got a big ear vent.
What?
The flu. Hope he's all right. Yeah, now I can reach it. Oh, where are you, boy? Come on. Oh, brother, soot, grease, and cobwebs.
You mean he's been there all this time, the parrot?
I hope he's in here. Hope I can reach it. Yeah. Sure, here we go.
Oh, look at the poor thing.
Yeah. Well, I'll clean him up a little. He'll be all right.
George, what are you going to do with him? I wouldn't touch that bird if it laid golden eggs.
All right, hold still there, Abner. Now, Brooksy, listen. We got to find out once and for all if this bird really does have anything to do with all the crazy stuff going on here.
You're sure hard to convince.
Hey, get off my coffee. If you're thirsty, boy, we'll get you a drink. Now, Brooksy, you go in the bar where Johnson is. Give me 5 minutes head start, then tell people I found the parrot and took off down the alley.
Well, of all the
Well, this is the only way to find out, isn't it? To see who comes after me. The bird itself can't have any value, but maybe somebody thinks it does.
Drop dead.
Oh, Brooksy, now look, just because everybody who's been around this long-nosed chicken has got into trouble...
All right, I'll do it. But there must be easier ways to find the end of a story.
Okay, bird. Let's get some of the grease off your feathers. Bird of ill-omen, huh? Big mystery bird. Oh, you like that, huh? Well, get yourself all stretched, because in about 5 minutes we'll go outside and see if anybody meets us. We'll find out just how dangerous it is to hang on to you when you're...
Drop dead.
Hey, shh, cut it out, will you? That's better.
Drop dead.
Huh?
Drop.
What? Hey, bird, snap out of it. What's the matter with you? Hey, Abner, come on, boy, come on. There's nothing wrong. Oh, brother. Drop dead, huh? Coffee. The coffee. You took a drink of my coffee. Brooksy. Johnson, what? John.
George, listen to me. Can't you hear me?
Here, slap him with the wet towel some more.
I'll do it, Captain.
That stuff can't hurt him any.
Get you and your crazy joint. Get out of here.
All right.
You all drink that stuff, too?
Oh, George, here now, don't move. You told me 5 minutes. It was 5 minutes before anybody even started to look for you.
Sure. Just me, huh? Just my coffee. We're not all dead, huh?
Valentine, I regret to say...
Never mind, I know. I'll loust it up again.
An old-fashioned knockout drop. They keep them behind the bar. Naturally, they would in this kind of a place.
Wait a minute. The bird.
He's all right, George.
And making a lot more sense than you are.
Okay, Johnson, somebody doped my coffee. Everybody had a chance. Everybody knew I was going to be here alone. But at least it proves it's somebody right here, doesn't it?
You nominate the seaman?
Yes, but why did this happen, George? We found you and the bird hadn't been touched.
Hey, did you move me?
What?
Here, I'll help you.
No,
get up.
don't touch me. If it wasn't the bird they were after, it was me. Only why me? What have I got that they
want? $100. Look in your pocket. See what was taken.
Yeah. I thought I had it in this pocket. Oh, the wallet's okay. Everything else? 60, 70, 80, 90. No, it's all there.
Well, nobody'd commit crimes just for that amount of money anyway.
No, of course not. So get on your feet. We start all over at the beginning.
Johnson, I think better on the floor. You know, all this business could be awfully simple.
Sure, Hindus and parrots and sea captains.
This thing with me could be a mistake. Limey could just have fallen down the stairs. The first guy we already know was just slugged and rolled.
I think you'd better stand up, George.
Okay. Too far-fetched, huh? But a desperate man might hope that's the way it'd go down.
Like what, man? Like why? What are you talking about?
Captain Charlie's respectable, isn't he, Johnson? Honest and good with the police.
That's right, for years.
The same goes for the people he's kept under his wing. Morton, Limey, Sadie.
Sure. Charlie keeps the place clean, all right, only... What's that got to do with...
Now listen. A foreign sailor comes in with a parrot last night and all blazes breaks loose. Everybody's imagination dives off in 7 directions.
It isn't imagination that the bird was involved in every crime, though, is it? Here with you? With Limey who took care of him? With the sailor who brought him in?
Sure, and you get so wound up you don't notice something else that was involved with everyone.
What, George?
The money that paid for the parrot.
Huh? But you just said that dough in your pocket hadn't been touched.
I thought I had it in the other pocket, that's all. But suppose while I was out, suppose the reason I was dope was to get at that money and do something with it.
Now, look, if it's there, it's there.
And that something was the last crime that needed to be done. From here on, the mysteries could stop.
George, for heaven's sake, tell us...
Okay, Angel, okay, words of one syllable. Suppose in this place one person isn't so respectable, fooling Charlie along with everybody else for years. And last night, Limey broke a door, a lock. Why would anybody lock a door around here, incidentally?
But who are you...
Because Charlie needed $25 more to make up the 100 the sailor wanted for his bird, remember? Well, Limey got it all right. He found it in Morton's room.
Well?
Well, Johnson, from there on, 1, 2, 3. Morton was mad, remember? But the sailor had already gone. Then the sailor was slugged and rolled. But if it was Morton, he couldn't find the money he wanted to get back.
George, Limey didn't have any money.
Limey was a weasel. Suppose he got to asking Morton about that money he took. Suppose he caught on to what I'm catching on to. So Morton killed him, scared to death of discovery now, with one accidental murder already to his credit. All right, then came me. Do you want to bet I was doped so that 25 of that 100 could be replaced with a different 25?
Holy smoke.
Sure, that's right. Replaced with genuine money.
George, Morton's a printer, isn't he?
You got it. His press must be in the locked room. He printed menus, remember?
Green ones with pictures of Lincoln and Washington and people like that on them.
That's the idea. And it explains everything. A counterfeiter. Trying to keep from being discovered.
Well, come on. Don't just stand there.
Morton. Hey, Morton.
Well, he was here just a second ago. He ran upstairs when you came out of the kitchen.
There he goes. Martin, stop! Sergeant, get him!
Hold it, Angel. Let the police do the rest.
Hey, what's going on anyway? Look, ma'am, ain't this a lovely bird? You know, someday I'm going to get me a rubber plant and then...
Oh, but George, even if Morton did commit those crimes, it still doesn't explain everything. There's still that tobacco-chewing seaman who fell off the roof and the parrot.
Hey, you didn't start this story. Yule did. So stick around a minute and I'll give him the rest of it.
Yes, he was a counterfeiter, I understand. All he wanted was to get his $25 back.
But the seaman, George...
Oh, yes. The mysterious man chewing tobacco.
Well, I'll use a little logic. The foreigner who was so anxious to sell the bird in a hurry, didn't speak English.
Yes, that made it all the more...
So where did his bird learn to say drop dead?
Oh.
Yeah, and every clue Yule gave me about him suggested the obvious. The sick had stolen the bird and was trying to sell quickly before the guy he stole it from caught up with him.
You telephoned the hospital, huh?
Well, this might not be all clairvoyance, but sure. The seaman didn't want to get mixed up in any trouble, but he still wanted his bird back.
Huh. His bird. And that's all there was to it? Oh, my beautiful romantic story of the waterfront. With all those strange characters.
Watch it. Don't get carried away again.
Oh, dear. My beautiful story.
Anyway, cheer up, Mr. Yule. Maybe you could sell it to one of those mystery shows on the radio.
Sure. Call it Drop Dead.
Just in case we lost you somewhere along the way, George Valentine was played by Robert Bailey, and Brooksy, played by Virginia Gregg. David Victor and Jackson Gillis wrote the tale, and Eddie Dunstetter played the music. Now, this is yours truly inviting you to our next visit with Valentine, when you will again hear what happens when you let George do it.
And there you go. 73 years ago, July 23rd, 1951, Let George Do It here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Take a look at tomorrow. We're going to have the Chase and Sanborn Hour, Earl Stanley Gardner's A Life in Your Hands, The American Portraits, and Lum and Abner. That's all coming up tomorrow. But right now, Edward Arnold as Mr. President. Which president? You'll find out.
Daily, the broadcasts of Radio Free Europe and Radio Free Asia strike through the Iron Curtain, bringing the truth about the free world to the captive peoples behind it. Help send a message by giving to the 1952 Crusade for Freedom.
We head to Canada now for an episode of Dana Andrews as I Was a Communist for the FBI as Matt Cvetic. 72 years ago, July 23rd, 1952, the Canadian Crossfire.
I was a communist for the FBI.
Starring Dana Andrews in an exciting tale of danger and espionage. I was a communist for the FBI. You are about to hear a strange story. Names, dates, and places are, for obvious reasons, fictional. But many of these incidents are based on the actual experiences of Matt Cvetic, who for 9 fantastic years lived as a communist for the FBI. Here is our star, Dana Andrews, as Matt Cvetic.
It was a long time to pretend I was what I hated most. 9 years of being a part of the viciousness that is communism. You might have been one of those that sneered at me for being a Red. If you are, mister, I'm proud of you. If you aren't, well then listen. You'll see why you should have. This is my story. This is the story of communism.
In a moment, listen to Dana Andrews as Matt Cvetic, Undercover Man. Here is Dana Andrews, starring as Matt Cvetic in I Was a Communist for the FBI. This story from the confidential file is marked Canadian Crossfire.
Albany, next stop. Albany. Albany, 5-minute stop.
5 minutes. I think I'll get off and buy a magazine, Comrade Milhigh.
Good, I'll come with you, Comrade Cvetic.
I'll only be a minute.
We should stay together, Comrade, for our own protection. You don't want to live dangerously, do you?
I was headed for Canada on a routine assignment for the party. As secretary of the Red-controlled Slav Congress, I was supposed to organize some new labor cells in Montreal. The FBI had given me the name of a Canadian agent, Ferguson, who was to be my contact. The commies had given me a traveling companion, a squat MVD man, a Romanian Red named Milhigh who had a sense of humor like an undertaker. It's so funny.
I was just thinking of a letter I received.
So?
So my cousin in Romania just died. I owed him $800.
Oh, brother.
What's the matter, no funny bone?
You just cracked it. To me, death just isn't a laugh.
Oh, you're the sensitive kind.
Yeah. Why are you going to Canada?
I have a special assignment. Very specially. But now... My mission is too vital to tell to an agent of the FBI.
What did you say?
Don't be offended, comrade. We of the secret police are trained to regard everyone as enemy agents. That way we stay out of trouble, no?
Oh.
I like you, comrade. You must visit me at party headquarters. Perhaps we will entertain a few pretty girls, eh?
Sure.
and discuss the miseries of the world.
Comrade Cvetic, what a sense of humor. You kill me.
I would have loved to kill him, but Milhi had done one thing for me. He had dropped a hint of something dangerous. MVD agents are always trouble. When there are several of them and on special assignment, it's murder. We crossed the broad St. Lawrence into Montreal by way of the 1.75 mile long Victoria Jubilee Bridge. At the station, I finally got rid of Milhi and made my way through the limestone buildings of the charming city until I came to the Place d'Armes and the magnificent Church of Notre Dame, the largest of Montreal's countless churches. A white-haired man was lounging alone in the right-hand opening of the triple-arched doorway. I went up to him. Good morning, sir.
Aye, it is that.
Could you direct me to a shop where I could buy 48 angels?
Man, that's a very peculiar request. Would you not be satisfied with 9?
Sure would. Hello, Mr. Ferguson. I'm Matt Cvetic.
It's my pleasure.
You've gotten a report on me, I take it?
Aye. It's a dangerous work you do.
I don't want to step on any toes, sir. Just tell me...
Nonsense. The Canadian authorities will be glad to cooperate with you.
Thank you.
We'll be grateful to have a look inside the party, such as your work will give us.
Well, my work here will consist mostly in organizing a bunch of red workers. You'll get a complete rundown on who they are, where they are, and so forth.
Good.
But there's one thing else. Something bigger and a lot more dangerous.
What's that?
An MVD agent arrived from the States with me. He's on special assignment. You know what that means.
Aye.
His name is Milhi. 5'4", about 150, dark hair and eyes. Laughs a lot, but his jokes aren't funny.
I have it.
Okay, then I'd better be off.
Before you go, you'd better know what it is this secret police agent Milhi is working on.
You know?
I'm pretty sure that he will be having something to do with a certain bit of espionage.
Oh, espionage.
Have you heard of the Owl's Head project?
No.
It's a combined Canadian-American development of a new type-guided missile. The plant is near here on Owl's Head Mountain.
And there's a leak?
Aye, a bad one. Try and see me tonight. I'll show you what we've done on the case so far.
All right, sir.
Be careful, lad. Be very careful.
A few minutes later, and I was strolling down St. Catherine Street past the theaters and big retail stores to a small shop called Seryoja's. Inside the back room, I met a dozen burly workers and got right down to business. Quiet! That's it, comrades. As you know, I've been sent here to organize you into cells so that you may work efficiently for the party. You are all skilled workers. You will soon find employment in factories and mills.
And until they find jobs, Comrade Cvetic?
I brought a small fund with me, Comrade Seryoja. As leader of this district, you will use it to help these new comrades until they can help themselves.
I understand.
Of course, you new comrades realize that once you have employment, you will pay your dues regularly and contribute as much as possible to the work in this area. Comrade Seryoja's shop will be your weekly meeting place. He will collect your dues and contributions.
Comrade, when shall we meet?
Saturday nights at 10 o'clock. Call it a social club. And fine any member not attending.
Of course.
A few general comments. First, join. Join everything. Churches, clubs, movements. Get into every group you can. Spread our beliefs carefully and slowly until you have control and are able to subvert the group into working for us. Remember, you're in a hostile country. You will need front organizations behind which you can work toward our historic mission. For the rest of the day, I talked and explained. Then, after dismissing the meeting with instructions to gather at the shop the following day, I walked outside with Comrade Seryoja, the store owner and district leader. I was asking him where to stay when Milhi came up and solved the problem this way.
But of course, comrade, you will stay with me at party headquarters.
Well, that's swell, but really I could go to a hotel.
A high-ranking party member like yourself should not have to suffer the indignities of bourgeois companionship.
But I have...
It is settled, comrade.
that was that. I knew my chances of getting away to see Ferguson were pretty slim for a while. Party headquarters turned out to be a church, at least on the outside. On the inside and underneath the empty auditorium was a beehive of rooms, people, and activity.
Busy little place, is it not?
That's an understatement.
Come with me. There is someone I want you to meet. Here, in this room. Good evening, Comrade Grice. This is Matt Cvetic.
Come in. Comrade Milhai tells me you are the Secretary of the Slav Congress in the United States.
That's right.
Let me welcome you to Canada, comrade. You're told, of course, that you would stay here?
Oh, I see I really didn't have a choice.
None whatsoever, comrade.
You prefer it here to a capitalistic hotel, don't you?
Certainly.
Good.
It's quite a place you have here. The center of all our Canadian activities?
You ask questions. I don't like that.
I'm sorry, comrade.
Show Comrade Cvetic to his room, Comrade Milhai.
Yes.
And instruct him in the security regulations. I wouldn't want him liquidated because of some ignorant mistake.
Nice room.
Small but comfortable.
Now, what are the regulations I should know?
There are things going on here that you do not understand. Let it remain so.
Sure.
Be very careful not to let anyone follow you here. Do not make any phone calls from here. Do not ask questions of anyone you meet here. Do not go into any of the other rooms.
All right.
Good. Now let us go out and get some supper and some entertainment, comrade?
Wow. Who does that belong to?
Oh.
I want to see Mr. Grice. Is he in his room?
Mister?
Yes, miss. Go right ahead. He's expecting you.
Well, since when do we call comrades Mister?
She is not exactly a comrade.
Not a comrade? But she's here, in our secret headquarters.
Please, Comrade Matt, this is something you would do better to forget. Completely.
Forget it. Not likely. Milhai's attitude only made me more curious about the girl. But for the moment, it had to wait. When I could, I shook loose from Milhai and his ideas of entertainment and made my way to Ferguson's office. The first thing he did was show me a dozen photographs of workers at the Owl's Head project.
We've narrowed down the suspects to these people in the pictures, Mr. Cvetic. Our thief has to be one of those.
No luck. I've cased party headquarters, but no sign of any of these people.
Where are the headquarters?
Under a fake church near the French market.
Near the Bon Secours. Aye, we've had a suspicion about the place, but no proof.
If I can spot your thief there, you'll have your proof. And he must come there sometime to deliver the stolen documents.
Yes, I know you have your own job to do, but keep on the lookout for one of the faces in those pictures.
I will, sir. Do you have anything on a beautiful blonde girl, late 20s?
No. Not that I know of offhand. Why?
Just curiosity so far. I'll keep in touch. For the next few days, I was busy with my organizing of the Red Workers, meeting with them every day. At nights, Comrade Milhai saw to it that I was well occupied, but not so well occupied I didn't see the mysterious blonde girl coming and going on 2 more occasions. By now, I was really curious about her. The next time I saw her in the hall, I took a chance and intercepted her. Oh, miss.
Yes?
May I speak to you a moment?
Why?
Curiosity, maybe?
About what?
You're a girl. I've been curious about them ever since I was a small boy.
Very amusing. Now may I pass?
Wait. What's all the rush to see Comrade Grice?
I'm taking something to him, as if you didn't know. Now get out of my way.
In a second. What is it you're taking?
Mr. Grice said to report anyone asking questions. If I were you, mister, I'd worry for the next few minutes.
back to Dana Andrews, starring as Matt Cvetic in I Was a Communist for the FBI, and the second act of our story.
I was in Canada on a routine assignment for the party. My Canadian contact for the police was a man named Ferguson. He handed me a tip on a not-so-routine spy ring working in Montreal. I kept my eyes open in the Commie Party headquarters, and now had come up with what seemed to be a dangerous red secret. The secret was blonde and pretty, and very likely to get me killed. At least my fate was in her hands as she went into the room of Comrade Grice in the underground party headquarters. I waited in the hall until she came out.
Well, you can stop shaking. I didn't tell him.
Oh, sure, thank you.
Forget it.
Well, I'd rather not. Let me take you home instead.
No.
Please.
Look, the only reason I didn't turn you in was so I wouldn't have you on my conscience.
I'd rather be on your mind.
Just leave me alone, will you? I don't like you or any of your kind.
Well, you work for us. You must...
Do I go home alone or do I go back and see Mr. Grice?
Bye, honey. She left alone, but as she took a devious, twisting route through town, she had me right behind her. Near the Lachine Canal, the blonde turned into a side street and entered a small cottage. I moved to the lighted and open parlor window in time to get a big shock. The blonde was talking to a young towhead whose face was plenty familiar. He was one of Ferguson's suspects in the thefts at Owl's Head Project. What I heard made it all clear.
Joe, you're a fool. How many times have I told you never to come here?
No one followed me, Paul, so stop being afraid. Besides, I only came to tell you I'm through.
Through? But you can't, Joni. They'll kill me. You know they will.
Turn yourself in. The authorities will protect you.
The law? You're crazy?
No, I'm just fed up with working for Reds. Meeting them, talking to them.
Talking? What do you mean?
Oh, one of them questioned me tonight. I tell you, Paul, you have to do something. I won't go to that place again.
I can't stop now.
You can, but you're a coward. Haven't you got any courage at all?
Well, now, that's a fine way for a sister to talk. Why don't you tell on me? You'd like to see me dead. Go on, tell on me. You can identify my body at the morgue in the morning.
There was more, but I'd heard enough. It was time to get my information to the Canadian agent Ferguson. I got 2 blocks when the darkly grinning shape of the MVD man, Milhigh, stepped into my path.
Nice night for walking, eh, comrade?
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's swell.
Nicer night for a beautiful blonde.
What night isn't?
You picked the wrong neighborhood.
Yeah.
That was a mistake.
Comrade Milhigh, I don't know why you say that, but I guess I have the right to pick any... The devil's so funny.
You, comrade, you are so obviously a man who needs the companionship of a pretty girl, but who has failed in his search.
Huh?
Your pride is hurt, but you will get over it. Come with me. I have been looking for you anyway to fill out the foursome.
You mean you have...
Of course. I have 2 girls waiting for us.
Oh, well, I didn't understand.
Yes, they are at the Regal Cafe, but we had better hurry.
Well, comrade, I can't join you.
What? But you must.
No, I can't, honestly.
But what will I do with an extra girl? It will ruin everything. You have to
pick up another man someplace. It's just too late for me. I've got to be at Comrade Sorioja's store in the morning at 9.
Well, can't you at least come along for a few minutes, long enough for me to...
I'm sorry, I need to get some sleep.
I don't understand you, comrade. You seem to lack something. Makes me wonder.
Good night, Comrade Milhigh. It wasn't very cautious of me, but I had to get to Ferguson. I left Comrade Milhigh scratching his head and frowning. I could only pray he didn't become curious about the neighborhood and connect me with the girl and her brother. In Ferguson's office, I picked out the picture of the girl's brother and showed it to the Canadian.
Aye, Paul Werner. I'm not surprised, but how...
His sister has been acting as the liaison, taking the documents to the Red headquarters.
His sister. So that's the missing link.
Yes, sir. She brought another batch tonight. They'll still be at headquarters, so you can round up the ring any time now.
Aye, but we need one thing more. Werner's testimony. That would clinch our case.
He can be made to talk, sir. He's weak and he's scared to death. His sister will turn him in.
Will she?
No, sir, I don't think so. She doesn't seem to be a red. She's doing this out of fear for her brother. But she's got guts. She won't talk if she thinks it will hurt him.
Aye, but he doesn't know that.
No, sir. If we can get him away from her, tell him she told us the whole story, he'd open up like a broken dam.
Can you get him alone? Somewhere we can pick him up.
I can try, sir. But we'd better move fast. Milhigh spotted me in the neighborhood of Werner's house. If he connects me with Werner, the Reds will cross out Werner's number fast.
We'll be waiting 2 blocks south of the Werner home at the end of the street, where it meets Lachine Canal.
I'll get him there as soon as I can.
Do that. Then in the morning, we'll close in on party headquarters.
Wait till I've left around 9. I'll be going to my organizing work at Sir Yosha's store. And I'd like to be one Red who stays out of jail.
Yes, what? You?
Me. Inside, honey.
What do you mean by this? It's late and...
Yeah. Where's your brother?
None of your business. Now you get out of here.
Get him.
I'll do no such thing.
Then I'll do it.
What's all the rumpus, sis? Who's this?
Party business, comrade. Get your coat.
At this hour? Are you insane?
I said it was party business.
Look, I don't know you. How do I know you with a party?
Would you prefer that Comrade Grice send a goon squad? I can arrange it.
No. Wait. Look, I'm sorry, comrade. I was just...
Sure. Now, how about that coat?
But why? What have I done? I've been a good member. I've sold you everything I could steal.
If you were a good comrade, you'd give it to the party, not sell it. Get your coat.
Yes, of course. Yes.
What are you going to do to him?
Nothing. Don't worry.
Don't... Don't worry. That's all I've done since Paul joined the party.
Quiet.
I won't be quiet. You made me a liar and a traitor to my country. All the goodness inside of me's been squeezed into nothing by you filthy Reds.
Why not tell it to the authorities?
And see you butchers murder my brother? Oh, no, you're safe. I love my brother. I'll do anything to keep him from harm.
Very touching.
Well, touching or not, if he's hurt by anyone tonight or any other night, I'll...
Now, what's all this?
Huh? Your sister doesn't like your party work.
Oh, no. Sis, how many times do I have to tell you to lay off? Look, she didn't mean it.
Skip it. Let's go. It was easy until I got Paul Werner outside. Then as we neared the end of the street where it met Lachine Canal, I could tell he was getting uneasy. His eyes darted back and forth, and when Ferguson and his men moved out to meet us, Paul saw them.
Comrade, look! Police!
Hey, Paul, come back! Paul ran headlong for the dark waters of the canal. I did the only thing I could and followed him. When he leaped up on the concrete wall of the canal, I tried to grab him. But it was too late. He'd get away if I didn't stop him, so I dove into the icy canal after him.
Stop! In the name of the law, stop!
30 feet from the bank, I caught Paul and grabbed him.
Let go, you fool! Let go!
I can't. You got a cramp.
Stop, you crowded fool! Turn loose! Turn loose!
Sorry, fella.
Don't!
Max, man, are you all right?
I'm bringing him in.
Need any help?
Not now.
Revere!
I said...
Tompkins, give the lad a hand.
Yes. Here, put him out.
Is he...
No.
Yeah.
I only held him under till he was unconscious. Guess I'll need some help, too. Getting out. Scene to be done in. That was the start of the ball. While I went back to party headquarters, Ferguson went to work on Paul Werner. When I left party headquarters in the morning, heading for my organizing work at Sir Yosha's store, I ran into Ferguson a block from the church. He was grinning, and I suddenly became aware of the quiet of the street.
Aye, you were right, lad. Werner held out until we told him about his sister's testimony. Then he confessed the whole thing.
Good. But what
We're going to wrap up party headquarters now. The police have it surrounded. We were waiting until you were clear.
Oh. Well, you'll find everyone in the church, and all the stolen documents and data.
That'll make it a clean sweep. With Werner's story to back it up, we'll smash this spy ring completely.
I'll bet Werner's a little annoyed with me.
Aye, that he is. But you needn't worry about him telling anything to the commies.
No, I guess after testifying against them, he won't be doing much chit-chatting with the Reds.
I'm going to signal my men to move in now. Want to stay and watch the fun?
No, the Red workers are waiting for me at Seryoja's store. So if you'll excuse me, I'll get on with my business of being a communist. In America, or our good neighbor Canada, the job was one that had to be done, and was being done by the Fergusons and by me. Only my part was different, separate from everyone and everything that was good and clean. There was no recognition. There was no chance to tell my story. There were no friends. My only companions were my deadliest enemies, people sworn to lasting hatred of undercover men like myself. That was why I always found myself walking alone. This is Dana Andrews. The war against communism is a strange one with many twists and turns calculated to make you think it's not a war at all. But it is a war, a deadly war against a group whose flaunted historic mission is their final goal. That mission is revolution by force, a revolution designed in blood. So whether you like it or not, the war includes you. Yes, you, mister, and your wife and kids, too. It's a war we must win together. Next week, we'll bring you another strange story based on the fantastic experiences of Matt Cvetic. Join us then, won't you?
72 years ago, I was a communist for the FBI on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Up next, Edward Arnold as the president. Which one? That's your job to figure out.
Got money to burn? Well, neither has Uncle Sam. The nation cannot afford to let precious timber go up in smoke. As an American, you cannot afford to let a carelessly tossed cigarette start a forest fire that may cost millions of dollars and may even cost human life. Help keep our forest lands green and growing.
Classic Radio Theater continues now. I'm Wyatt Cox, and this is Edward Arnold with a unique program. The whole idea of the program was for you to figure out which president of the United States Edward Arnold was portraying. If you were smart, literate, you knew which president it was. If you didn't, you just had to listen along to try to figure out from the clues. 74 years ago, July 23rd, 1950, Mr. President.
By transcription.
If she falls in love with some rapscallion at that ball, I shall hold you responsible and the French embassy, even if it leads to war between France and America.
Mr. President, starring Edward Arnold and written by Gene Holloway. Mr. President, at home in the White House, the elected leader of our people, our fellow citizen and neighbor. These are little-known stories of the men who've lived in the White House, dramatic, exciting events in their lives that you and I so rarely hear. True human stories of Mr. President.
We'll bring you Edward Arnold as Mr. President in just a moment. But first, let's get a little philosophical on the subject of character in our presidents. Now, you know, all American boys, little girls too perhaps, grow up with the idea that they might be president someday. Why not? Our presidents have come from every environment. Rich and aristocratic like Washington, poor and self-educated like Lincoln. They've been lawyers and farmers, warriors and school teachers. Teddy Roosevelt was bluff and hearty. Wilson was a quiet, scholarly type. But what one quality did they have that made them presidential material? Personality? Yes. A sense of responsibility? Well, certainly in a time of emergency, the country needed a man who could step in and assume leadership. Well, let's learn more about it by listening to today's story of Mr. President and see if you can name the president on whom this episode is based.
Here's a story that happened in Washington a few years ago. Listen closely and see if you can tell who the president was.
Father, how do you feel?
Oh, it's you, Maria. I feel a little better, thank you.
Father, I've been for a ride, and the countryside is beautiful this afternoon.
Isn't that a new dress?
You are feeling better. Do you like it?
Oh, turn around. Yes, I like it very much indeed. Isn't it rather advanced for a child of your age?
Advanced? I'm 16.
Are you really? It hardly seems a day since you were 12.
Father, I'm going to have my dinner served up here with yours. It has to be early, though, because I'm going to a ball.
You're going to a ball?
Well, yes, Father.
Did your mother say you could go to a ball?
Of course. She had a new gown made for me to wear.
Well, she didn't say anything to me about it.
Oh, didn't she? Oh, well, probably that's because you've been so busy and, well, you haven't been feeling well.
Maria, perhaps you'd better ask your mother to come and talk to me for a few moments.
Well, Father, you aren't going to say I can't go.
Just ask your mother to come to me, please, Maria.
Yes, Father.
Elizabeth, are you permitting Maria to attend the ball?
Yes, my dear.
You didn't consult me in this matter?
Well, it never occurred to me that you would want to be consulted.
It never occurred to you that I would want to be consulted?
No, dear. After all, you have so many problems running the country.
I always have time for my family, Elizabeth. Well, Elizabeth, Maria's still a baby.
Well, she's 16.
You and Maria both say that as though it were 60.
Well, you'd hardly expect her to wait to go to a ball until she was 60.
I do not consider this a matter for levity, Elizabeth.
Yes, Mr. President.
Who is accompanying Maria to this ball? Are you?
No. Her sister's going.
If Eliza is going, she and her husband can well represent the family. Well, Maria can have a sudden indisposition.
No, I'm not going to let you do that. Well, the child has been counting on this for weeks. And she has the loveliest dress you've ever seen.
And suppose Maria meets some young man at this ball?
I expect her to meet a great many.
Suppose she falls in love with one of them?
Oh, my dear, I hardly think she'll do that so quickly.
You can't tell. I had no idea she'd be going to a ball so quickly. I don't know why it is that I can't get sick for a few days without having complete chaos develop around me. Has Maria an escort to the ball?
Yes.
Well, now, you see? Already she's going out with young gentlemen.
You won't have any objections to this young gentleman. It's Sam Gouverneur, your own private secretary.
Oh, really? Well, I must say it's very nice of Sam to bother with a young girl like Maria. What other young scalawags will be at the ball?
My dear, I just don't know. I didn't ask to see a guest list. I'm sure they will all be from the best families.
Well, you haven't left me much choice. I suppose I shall have to let her go, but if anything happens at that ball, the consequences will be on your head.
Yes, dear. They usually are.
You say Eliza and George are chaperoning her?
Yes, dear.
Then will you please ask Eliza to come to me?
Yes, dear. Of course I will.
Thank you. Now, Eliza, I don't want you to let your sister out of your sight for one moment tonight.
Oh, Father, don't carry on. Maria's going to be all right.
Maria has no business even going out tonight. She's still a little girl. I don't know what this younger generation is coming to.
Maria isn't doing anything different than Mother did. She went to balls when she was 16.
Well, that was different.
Why was it different?
Your mother wasn't my daughter.
Oh, I see.
Now, Eliza, I want you to remember that your sister's reputation is in your hands.
What do you think Maria's going to do with this ball?
I don't know. That's exactly what's worrying me. I wish I was able to go myself. Maybe I should go.
Oh, no, Father. You stay in bed and rest. I'll watch Maria.
Don't you let her do one bit of flirting. See that she keeps her eyes lowered.
Yes, Father, I'll do my best.
Now tell Maria to come to me as soon as she's dressed.
I'm ready, Father.
My child.
Do you like me?
Do you know the first time I accompanied your mother to a ball, she had a dress the same shade of blue? And when I looked at her, I thought, isn't that dress a little too low?
But it's the fashion.
Well, I think you better wear a shawl.
Oh, no, I can't, Father. It would spoil the dress.
But there's not enough of that dress. What holds it up?
I do.
I still say there's not enough of that dress.
There is just as much of this dress as there is of Eliza's dress.
Eliza is older.
What does that have to do with it?
Well, older girls wear different types of clothes than children.
Father, do I look like a child tonight?
No, you certainly don't. And that's the whole trouble.
Oh, Father, don't spoil things for me. It's my first important ball, and my first really grown-up dress, and my first big evening. Oh, please, Father, I've been dreaming of this evening for years.
I don't want to spoil it for you. I just want to be sure that... Well, I suppose fathers are foolish at that. But when it comes to a man's own daughter, well, what's done is done and can't be undone. You're going to the ball. So perhaps we should speak of some more important things. Now, Maria...
Yes, Father?
You have reached an age where you must be aware of certain things. Particularly if you're going to run about looking the way you look tonight.
Yes, Father.
Regarding young gentlemen, you must treat young gentlemen with politeness but with distance. Keep your conversation on impersonal levels. Discuss the weather, discuss the punch, discuss the refreshments, but never discuss religion or politics or the business of your neighbors. Learn to listen and to hold your tongue. And listen well, Maria, as though the young man at your side has the wisdom of Solomon.
Yes, Father.
Permit no familiarities in conduct or in speech. For as long as you show by your manner that you expect respect, you will get it. Have you a fan?
Oh, yes, here it is.
Good. A fan can serve many purposes besides cooling a lady's brow. It can cover a yawn. It can hide an expression. It can, if the need should arise, even block a kiss.
I'll remember.
And if the evening grows dull, and so many such evenings can, then remember to smile and keep smiling, and you will be the brightness that illuminates the evening and the memory that each guest will take home.
Yes, Father.
Now then, give me a kiss and run along. I'm sure you won't remember a thing I've said, but I've done my duty.
Good night, Father, and thank you. I shall tell you all about it tomorrow.
She's beautiful, isn't she?
You know, she looked so much like you when she came in that door that it took my breath away. But we've lost her. You know that, don't you?
You can't keep them from growing up, my dear.
Oh, I know. But mind you, if she falls in love with some rapscallion at that ball, I shall hold you responsible. And the French embassy, even if it leads to war between France and America.
My dear, you mustn't worry so much about things that no one can control.
Oh, she's young. She's so young.
Are you enjoying yourself, Maria?
Oh, Sam, I've never had such fun.
I wonder where Eliza and her husband disappeared to.
Oh, they're over there dancing.
Ah.
Ooh, It's so warm, isn't it?
Well, let's go out on the porch for a moment and cool off.
All right. It's a beautiful night, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, I believe if I stood on tiptoe, I could almost touch those stars.
Shall I climb the tree and try to get your hand?
No, I'd rather look at them where they are.
Maria, you're different tonight. I've known you for... I can't even remember how many years. But you're different tonight.
It's because I've grown up.
Yes. Yes, you have grown up. Maria, when you were 11, you asked me to marry you. Remember?
Of course I do. You were the first man I ever proposed to.
The first? You mean there were others?
Dozens. There was the son of the baker in Richmond, and, there was a delivery boy at home, and there was the minister, and my goodness, I can't even begin to remember them all.
Do you remember what I said when you asked me?
I certainly do. You said, I'm never going to get married. I don't like girls.
Well, I've changed since then.
Have you?
If you asked me again, I'd say something altogether different.
Well, young ladies of my age don't propose to young gentlemen of yours.
Well, that can be remedied. Oh, Maria.
Sam, do you know that's the first time anyone ever kissed me?
Do you know, to me, that seemed like the first time I'd ever kissed anyone.
Oh, Sam!
What is it?
I promised Father not to leave Eliza's sight for a moment, and I forgot all about it. Oh, as a matter of fact, I'm afraid I forgot everything Father said. Well, as Father would say, what's done is done. I might as well toss this in the bushes.
Maria, why are you throwing your fan away?
I don't need a fan this evening, Sam.
Is that you, Maria?
Yes, Father, it's me.
Where's your sister?
Oh, she dropped her glove in the carriage.
Oh.
She and George are hunting for it.
Mm-hmm. Did you have a pleasant evening?
I had a wonderful evening.
Well, tell me about it.
It was wonderful.
Yes, that's what you said.
Simply wonderful.
How was the orchestra?
Wonderful.
And the ambassador and his family?
Wonderful.
And the punch? Never mind, I know the answer. The punch was wonderful.
Everything was wonderful. Father, you'll never guess what's happened. I've fallen in love.
You what?
I've fallen in love. Isn't that wonderful, Father? Isn't that wonderful?
Eliza! Elizabeth! George! Elizabeth! Come downstairs this moment and see what you've done! Elizabeth! Come and see what you've done!
In just a moment, we'll come back to Edward Arnold and Mr. President.
The better we produce, the better we live. That's always been the basis of the American economic system, the reason our people have always worked so hard in their jobs and businesses. However, our economic system has been the subject of many attacks lately by other countries. Now, some people fail to realize the exaggeration of this propaganda. They tend to quickly forget the vast benefits America's economic system has brought them. That's why each of us should make it his duty to understand this system. Now, let's not be misled. Let's learn the truth about our economic system. Write for the free booklet, The Miracle of America, which explains clearly and simply how by working together, a still better living can be had for all. Address Box 10, Times Square Station, New York City, and ask for your copy. Now, it's our job as Americans to know these facts. And now, back to Edward Arnold and Mr. President.
Well, have you guessed who the president was when all this happened? It really did happen, so listen closely.
Have some more coffee, dear.
No, thank you, Elizabeth.
May I pass you the toast, Father?
No, thank you, Eliza.
How about the eggs, Father?
No, thank you, George.
But you haven't eaten a thing. And the doctor said you must.
I'm not hungry.
Now, really, Father, it isn't Mother's fault. Or my fault or George's fault.
You didn't carry on like this when Eliza fell in love with me.
Oh, yes, he did. Precisely the same way.
Why isn't Maria down to breakfast?
Oh, she'll be down presently. Thought I'd let her sleep this morning.
Father, you should have seen her last night. She was having such a wonderful time.
Yes, so I've gathered, Eliza. I knew this would happen. I told you all if she went to that ball, something like this would happen.
Well, keeping her home from a ball wouldn't stop her from falling in love. She could meet someone on the street and fall in love with him.
That's perfectly ridiculous, and you know it.
Besides, I don't know why you're taking it so seriously. All young girls fall in and out of love a half a dozen times before it's serious.
Not my daughters. Eliza, who did Maria fall in love with?
Didn't she tell you?
No, she didn't tell me. If she had told me, I wouldn't be asking about it. All she would say to me, he was wonderful.
Well, she certainly didn't tell me.
No, she didn't tell you, eh? Well, you have eyes, haven't you? Who did she dance with?
Practically everyone at the ball. She was the belle of the evening.
Did she tell you, Elizabeth?
No, she didn't, dear.
Why not?
I didn't ask her.
You didn't ask her? May I ask why you didn't ask her?
Well, I'm sure that when Maria is ready to tell me, she'll tell me, if there's anything to tell. In the meantime, I think this is all a great deal of nonsense, and I absolutely refuse to take it seriously. Well, she may be all over it this morning.
Good morning, everyone. Isn't it a wonderful morning?
Oh, yeah, she's over it all right.
Sit down, dear. I'll fix a plate for you.
Oh, just a little. I'm not very hungry.
What's the matter? Have you got a stomachache?
No, thank you, Father.
Maria, would you mind looking at us just once as though you saw us?
I see you, Father.
Maria, would you mind telling us who the gentleman is who has caused this rhapsodic detachment from this entire planet that you are indulging in?
Oh, what did you say, Father?
I said, who is the man?
What man?
I give up. I absolutely give up. Elizabeth, you handle her.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning, Sam. Come into my office. I want to talk to you.
Yes, sir.
Sam, I am simply beside myself. Perhaps you can help me.
Yes, sir.
What happened at that ball last night?
Sir?
Maria is behaving as though she had taken leave of her senses.
She is?
Yes, she says she's in love.
She does? Oh, that's wonderful.
Now, don't you start that.
I hoped she'd care, sir. But I wasn't really sure. You know how girls are.
You hoped she cared? Sam, do you mean to tell me that she... Oh, no.
Mr. President, I would like to request the honor of your daughter's hand in marriage.
Get out of here.
Get out?
That's what I said, get out. To think that all this time that you have worked for me, I have harbored a viper in my bosom.
Mr. President, I've fallen in love with your daughter.
Well, you could fall right out of love with my daughter. You're talking like a fool, and so is Maria.
Sir, I can't allow you to refer to your daughter in those terms.
You can't allow me to refer to my daughter in those terms, and furthermore, Maria is your cousin.
Well, she's a distant cousin.
Close or distant, I don't want to hear any more about it. The subject is closed. You're dismissed until further notice from my employer.
Yes, Mr. President. Good day, sir.
Father, I wanted to ask you... Oh, good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Maria. I was just leaving.
Oh, is Father sending you on an errand?
No, I've dismissed Sam, Maria.
What?
Now, Maria, I don't want to discuss it anymore right now. You're still a little girl, and you will simply have to trust me to know what's best for you.
Your father is angry about us, Maria.
But, Father, we're in love.
Maria, you're entirely too young for any such foolishness.
That's not very fair of you, Father.
You will thank me for it someday.
I won't thank you for it. You're ruining my whole life. Oh, Father, you can't govern how people think and how they feel, even if you are the President of the United States.
Maria!
I love Sam, and he loves me, and you can't change that even with an act of Congress.
Now see what you've started.
Mr. President, if you'd only try to understand...
Sam, I understand this. I love my daughter. Her happiness is more important than anything in the world to me. She's not old enough yet to know what she's doing. And I do not intend to let her throw her life away before she does know. The two of you spend one evening together at a ball, and you come home and expect me to sanction a marriage. Well, it takes more of a foundation than that for a happy marriage, Sam.
I do love her, sir. It didn't just happen last night. I think I've loved her for a long, long time. I just became aware of it last night.
Then wait. Wait until she's old enough to know what she's doing. I'm sorry I lost my temper with you. I can't blame you for loving her. I'd like you to stay if I can put you on your honor as far as Maria is concerned for the time being.
I'd rather stay on your terms than not see her at all.
All right, then. We'll say no more about it. Let's go to work. Isn't Maria coming to dinner?
I'm afraid not, dear. She locked herself in her room. She's been crying all afternoon.
I see. You haven't touched a thing on your plate, Elizabeth.
I just don't seem to be very hungry.
Aren't you hungry either, Eliza?
No, Father.
George?
I had a big luncheon.
I see. Obviously, you're all upset about Maria.
I keep thinking back to the days when you and I wanted to get married, dear. You know how my family felt about you. My father didn't feel that...
Your father was a narrow-minded man who couldn't see the end of his nose. He said that you were marrying beneath you, and that I had no future. And that
I was too young to know what I was doing.
That is completely beside the point, and you know it.
But, my dear, when young people fall in love, logic has very little to do with their emotions. They're in love. And whether there's any rhyme or reason to it, there it is. My father said I shouldn't marry you. But I married you all the same. And in all these years, I've never once been sorry.
Excuse me. I don't seem to have any appetite either.
Come in.
Aren't you going to eat any dinner?
I just couldn't.
Oh, Maria, I didn't. Well, I don't mean to be hard-hearted or unreasonable about Sam. I suppose I've seemed that way the past few days, but don't you see, to me it's hardly been a moment since you were playing with dolls. And to suddenly see you a woman grown, and then to hear you say you were in love, it all came so fast, I wasn't ready for it.
I know. Father, I don't want to make you unhappy or to worry you. I know how many problems you have right now with Congress and everybody, but I'm so unhappy I just want to die.
Now, wait a moment. Nobody ever really died of love that I know of, Maria. And I'd hate to see anything like that happen to a member of my family. So suppose you wash your face and put on your prettiest dress and come down in the study.
Oh, no, Father, I'd much rather stay upstairs.
No, Maria, I want you to fix yourself up and come downstairs. I'll wait for you in the study.
Hello, Maria.
Oh. Well, come in, my child, come in. Maria, Sam has just asked me again for your hand in marriage, and since it seems to be the thing that you both desire more than anything else in the world, I have bestowed it on him.
Oh, Sam.
Darling.
Oh, Father, you're the most wonderful man that ever lived.
Well, that's debatable. But I'm sure no man ever loved his children more. Sam, I shall be proud to have you as a son-in-law.
Thank you, sir.
Well, now, let's cross the hall and tell the rest of the family.
Oh, Sorry, I was just passing.
Elizabeth, were you listening at the door?
We all were, Father. Congratulations, Maria. Sam, I know you're going to be very happy.
Congratulations.
Well, now, I think we must all toast Maria and Sam, who will be the first couple in history to be married in the White House.
That will be something for us all to remember the rest of our lives.
Yes, my dear, that will be something for us all to remember the rest of our lives. And I can only hope for our children that they find in each other the great happiness that you and I have found together. Well, you've probably figured out by now who the president was when all that happened. It really did happen, you know, and you'll have the answer in just a moment.
Many millions of people in Europe know hunger only too well. Knew it during the war and know it still. Now, one of the best ways we can help the people in Europe combat hunger is by sending food parcels through CARE. CARE sends food and clothing packages which provide more per dollar than individuals can supply any other way. For instance, one food package costing $10 contains 24.5 pounds of food. CARE guarantees delivery of this food package to any individual or group in 11 countries in Europe and in Israel and Japan. So if you want to send a food package overseas, just mail $10 to CARE. Give your name and address and the name and address of the person the package is going to. And now, back to Edward Arnold.
Well, congratulations, my dear. I hope you'll be very happy.
Maria, I'm sure you're the most beautiful bride that any one of us has ever seen, except, of course, Eliza.
Well, how about the bridegroom? Isn't he beautiful?
No, Marie, he's wonderful, wonderful.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Sam, just think. One day we can say to our children, your father and I were married in the White House when your grandfather was President of the United States, President James Monroe.
Be with us again next week, won't you, for another interesting story that happened in Washington a few years ago to Mr. President. Until then, goodbye.
This program is produced and directed by Joe Graham. Edward Arnold can currently be seen in the MGM picture Annie, Get Your Gun. Heard in today's cast were Rosemary Rice, Ann Seymour, Marion Shockley, and Les Tremaine. Your narrator was Eric Dressler. Mr. President was created by Robert G. Jennings. Today's story was based on incidents in the life of President James Monroe.
Be sure to listen again next week when the American Broadcasting Company and its affiliated stations bring you Edward Arnold with another interesting and factual story of Mr. President.
Mr. President came to you transcribed. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Complicated story, wasn't it? James Monroe was Mr. President this time, played by Edward Arnold 74 years ago, July 23rd, 1950. Visit our webpage, classicradio.stream, to support the program. Now an episode of People Are Funny, starring Art Linkletter, in a moment.
Do you know how old the school building in your community is? If it's over 25 years old, the chances are that it's woefully inadequate. Join with the groups in your community working for better school conditions. Remember, better schools build a stronger America.
Now from July 23rd, 1958, 66 years ago, a summer replay of People Are Funny, starring Art Linkletter.
Yes, Mongodel's production of People Are Funny, brought to you by NBC Radio, repeating the best shows of the past season. And now here is America's top master of ceremonies, Art Linkletter.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, people are funny about making up their minds. Now, if you had your choice of 3 packages, would you pick the largest one? Or do you believe in the saying that the best things come in small packages? Or, on the other hand, you might be the conservative type who more or less takes the middle of the road. Just before we went on the air, we picked a guest out of our studio audience, and we are going to give them a chance to make that choice tonight. So would you come out, please? Oh, it's a lieutenant. Come on out here, Lieutenant. Let's give him a nice welcome. People are funny. Lieutenant
Phillips.
Of the United States Army
Yes, Art.
Air Force.
Air Force.
You're a married man.
A married man.
Any children?
I have 2.
Aged?
Yes, one is 6, and the other is not quite 2.
All right, now where do you come from originally?
Originally from Charleston, West Virginia.
And you've been in the service how many years?
As an enlisted man, 5, and as an officer, 5.
Are you going to be a career man and stay in through the entire time?
Yes, I am a career man.
Good for you. Now, how'd you happen to be at People Are Funny tonight?
Well, my wife and I are vacationing here.
Now, Bill, you're a man who, as an Army officer, has to make decisions at one time or another and command men.
Yes, Art.
Tonight we're going to give you a chance to make a rather difficult decision. Here are 3 packages. Let's just walk back here for a moment. This package to your left, Bill, is a package that we might call a Papa package. The dimensions, which are roughly 12 feet long, 4 or 5 feet high, and about 15 feet the other way. That's a pretty big package, wouldn't you say?
Must be something big in there.
Well, I tell you what it could be in there. A small Caterpillar tractor with a Continental kit, or a glass-bottom boat, or a ton of assorted dinosaur bones. It could be worth a couple of $1,000, or it might cost you $10 to have what's in there carted out to the city dump and destroyed. You know, this is People Are Funny. Now, right here is the Mama package, we might call it. It's kind of medium size, not nearly as large. It's about 4 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. And it might contain a $1,000 mink coat, or an $800 Magnavox color television set, or a large stalk of condemned bananas. Now, what do you think of the 2 packages you've seen so far, Lieutenant?
Well, Art, I think maybe my wife would like that package.
Yeah, it's wrapped more prettily, isn't it, with the green ribbon and all. Now, we come to the little baby package right over here. This plain brown paper bag, resting like a jewel on this velvet cloth on this table, is the smallest. Now, that could easily be the most valuable because it could contain either a $5,000 diamond-studded wristwatch, 2 round-the-world airplane tickets on KLM Airlines, the finest in overseas flying, or, well, there might be a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is quite a dilemma and poses a very interesting problem for the lieutenant. You can have your pick, the small brown sack, the medium-sized box, or the tremendous box. What does your snap judgment tell you to take?
My snap judgment, Art, says take the big box. But having been married 9 years, my wife says valuable things come in small packages.
Well, now I tell you, Lieutenant, remember this. I'm not going to give you any hints. I may even confuse you further. But remember this, that on this program we may figure one way or we may figure another. I'll give you one little clue. The contents of 2 of these boxes can make a sound. And the contents of 1 of these 3 packages cannot make a sound. Is your wife out in the audience?
Yes, Art.
Maybe you'd want to have her yell out as to which one she would like.
The 3 of them.
The 3 of them? It sounds to me like you married a girl from south of the border, huh?
Ah, si, senor.
No, si, senora. But she says the 3 of them. It is impossible, madame, for the 3 to go. You must take uno.
Take the big one, then.
She now yells, take the big one, Bill.
Well, Art, in a predicament like that, My intuition tells me to take the medium-sized one. However, having been married 9 years, my better judgment says take the small one.
And she says to take the big one. Are you going to obey your intuition, your own judgment, or your wife?
I'll take the medium-sized one.
All right. He's made his decision. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go over here and see what you missed. I'll tell you what let's do. Let's look in the little one first. I will take the package up, and I will open it. And, here, you put your hand in. A peanut butter sandwich. So you see what your judgment did. Now we're going to look over here, and we're going to see what is in the big box before we see what you take. So, boys, open the big box, and they're going to swing it away, and you'll see a brand new Rambler Custom Cross-Country. A Rambler Custom Cross-Country 4-door station wagon with luxurious interior equipped with airliner reclining seats and all of it. Now wait till your wife gets you home. She kept yelling the big box. Well, on the other hand, think of the traffic tickets you've just saved yourself. Well, Lieutenant, I wouldn't want to deprive you of the final fun of seeing what choice you finally did make. This is the middle size of the mama box. So, take it away, boys, and let's see what they got. Well, it's a beautiful Thomas electronic organ worth about $800. Now, this is a marvel of electronic engineering. Fun for the family. Do you play the organ?
Not yet.
Does your wife play the organ?
She soon will.
Of course, your two children will play the organ professionally. Lieutenant, thanks for proving once again that people are funny. Goodbye and good luck. In just 60 seconds from now, we'll hear people continue to prove that people are funny.
When you're feeling tense and irritable and you're bothered by irregularity,
take X-Lax. X-Lax helps you toward your normal regularity, gently, overnight.
when you feel listless and dragged out and you're bothered by irregularity,
take X-Lax. X-Lax helps you toward your normal regularity, gently, overnight.
Whenever you need a laxative,
take X-Lax at bedtime. X-Lax won't disturb sleep. And next morning, you'll be well on the way toward your normal regularity, without upset, without discomfort. And thanks to its gentle effectiveness, X-Lax is almost never needed again the next night.
Whenever you need a laxative,
take pleasant-tasting chocolated X-Lax, the laxative that helps you toward your normal regularity, gently, overnight.
Whenever anyone in your family needs a laxative,
you can rely on X-Lax, America's largest-selling laxative. X-Lax helps you toward your normal regularity.
This is Pierre Jalbert. 2 weeks ago, he said that he was ready to settle down if he could find the right girl. And here is the attractive girl that Univac, the electronic matchmaker, found for him. Her name is Ramona Scott. And she, of course, is looking for an ideal man to settle down with. They saw each other for the first time on this stage 2 weeks ago tonight. The object? Matrimony, perhaps? Money? Most certainly. A possible $20,000, which we always keep on hand in loose change in this wheelbarrow for easy moving off. Everything is in its favor, so let's see how the romance is coming along. Would you join me, Ramona and Pierre? How was the week?
Just marvelous.
Any dining and dancing?
Oh, yes, we had a wonderful time. Went to the Imperial Gardens. It's a Japanese place. There's lots of atmosphere and lots of Japanese music and wonderful food.
Isn't that the place where you sit down?
That's right. You have to.
No back to hold you up?
No back to hold you up.
Fold your legs underneath you?
That's right.
Went there once, and after the dinner was over, they had to get me off on a stretcher. My legs wouldn't work any longer.
We had the same thing happen to us.
Quite slightly.
But it's a romantic spot, isn't it?
It is a wonderful place, yes.
What do you find that you like best about Pierre so far?
Well, I like many things about Pierre, but I do think that his courtesy and to me, his manners impressed me a great deal. His sense of humor. It's just marvelous to be with somebody that you can say something with, and that he laughs at all my jokes, you know.
Oh, good audience.
He sure is. And he's a wonderful dancer, and when we go out, he is certainly a gourmet. He enjoys the same type of foods that I do, and frankly, I'm overwhelmed with Univac.
Univac has made a good choice. What do you find you like best about Ramona, Pierre?
Well, what I like about Ramona is that, apart from being pretty, she is alert and very intelligent. And one thing is that we have a very, very similar sense of humor, which is quite necessary these days.
And very important.
Quite.
I keep asking about what you two like about each other. Maybe a more pertinent and more pointed thing is, have you found anything you dislike about each other?
Frankly, Arthur, I haven't.
No,
be honest.
No, I am honest. This is sincere. I haven't. No, I haven't. I haven't found anything that is dislikable, and everything is wonderful.
Well, fine. Maybe I can find something that you won't like. Let me see. If you were to marry, do you think that the other person should have the right to open the other person's mail?
Definitely not.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
I mean, there are things in life that you must keep secret. Yeah.
These Frenchmen, they get around you one way or the other. Now, let's get down, following the little reprise of the romantic part of our meeting, let's get down to the practical dollar and cents value of playing the anagram game for $6,000. The third step on the way to $20,000, and we're now to turn our table around and find which letters are hiding the 6 and the 4 zeros. Tonight it is NTSE, 1 vowel and 3 consonants. And behind one of these is the letter 6, behind the others are zeros, and if you make the right word and would like to stop, you can take the $6,000 and go home. All right, Pierre and Ramona? With all of the whispering going on in the audience, I can tell that they're all playing the game. $6,000. Or you can come back and try for 10. On the way to 20, it's up to you. All right, Pierre? Here goes the exchanging the letters. He takes the letter T and the S and moves them in opposite directions so that now it's N-S-T-E. Now it's S-E-N-T is sent. Ramona is suggesting N-E-S-T now. That's the motherly feeling in her coming out. N-E-S-T is now our word. There are several more words. Are you ready? All right. All right, let's start it. Well, we're going to take the middle letter S, and if there's 6 behind this, you've made $60. There's a 0. You're going for $6,000. Then we'll try the letter E. This would be $600. Kind of fun, isn't it, to play this game? Pierre is perspiring. Instead of water, French francs are coming out. Now we have N and T left, and behind one of them is the letter 6. So you could either make $6,000 or $6. And we love to prolong the delightful and exquisite agony of matchmaking and monetary returns. And so we once again titillate you with the prospect of either going on for $10,000 next week or selecting and betting on what you have here. Remember, last week you would have lost. You'd have had $3.
That's true.
This week you might have 6 or 6,000, or you can go on and come back for 10. I'll tell you what I'll do. Since you're up to $10,000, if you come back next week, and to help keep the blaze going in this romance, if you come back for $10,000 next week, and you wind up with $1 or $10 or $100, I'll give you as a consolation prize a trip to New York aboard a luxurious United DC-7 mainliner, the nation's #1 airline, and then a KLM Royal Dutch airliner hop for the finest in overseas flying to Paris, France, which you could take as a honeymoon if you get married, or as a pleasant way to mend 2 broken hearts if you don't. So with that kind of a prospect, will you come back next week for 10?
We'd love it.
You'd love it? I'll tell you another good reason why you should come back next week. You'd have made $6. Your choice of cent, S-E-N-T, would have also won you $6 because it was back of the letter T. The $6,000 word was T-E-N-S, or tens, plural of the word 10. And so, next week, you'll be back, Pierre, live each hour to its fullest, because these may be your last days as a bachelor. Good night, Ramona. Good night. We'll be back in a minute, 60 seconds, to prove to you, as always, that people are funny.
To the 40 million citizens who own United States savings bonds, the government says congratulations. Now here's some mighty important information about Series E savings bonds. The bonds you buy now pay a higher interest rate, and pay it faster, too. Since February 1st, 1957, the interest rate has been increased to 3.25%. This means you get back $4 for every $3 invested in a shorter maturity period of only 8 years and 11 months. They also pay higher returns in the early years, too. So for safety, for a guaranteed return, for an easy way to regular savings, you can't find a better investment than savings bonds. But don't wait. Start buying the new, improved United States savings bonds where you work on the payroll savings plan, or buy them regularly at your bank. For the big things in your life, be ready with United States savings bonds.
It's fun to come down in the audience and try to prove that people are funny with people out of the audience, and we do it in various ways, playing quick little games. For instance, who are you, sir?
Ed Contrado.
Where are you from?
Inglewood, California.
What business are you in?
I'm working for a Shell Oil Company.
I'll tell you what I'll do with you, Mr. Contrado. I'll give you $50 cash right now if you can count from 10 to 1 backwards in 5 seconds. Go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm sorry? Counting from 10 to 1 backwards is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I didn't say from 1 to 10. I said from 10 to 1. Isn't that a dirty trick? Mr. Contrado, your consolation is not $50, but 50 dimes. There you are. Speaking of dimes, here's a dime. Here's a pretty girl. Who are you?
Kay Cribbs.
Where are you from, Kay?
I'm from Westchester.
Tell you what I'll do with you, Kay, while we're having a little fun down here. I'll bet you a dime that I can kiss you without touching you.
I bet you can't.
All right. Is it a bet?
It's a bet.
All right, now hold still. Shut your eyes. You can't look.
But you did kiss me. And you did touch me.
That's right, I did. Here's the dime. I lose more bets that way. Strawberry preserves. I love them. We'll see that you get a nice bottle of Arpège perfume by Lanvin. Now, let me see. Let me have a little concentration here. How are you on money? Do you like money?
I like money very well.
All right. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you $20 if you can pass this test. Stand up and tell me who you are, first of all.
I'm Stan Cagle.
From where?
Oh, Los Angeles.
What business are you in?
I'm an intern.
An intern?
Mm-hmm.
Studying to be a doctor?
Well, yeah.
You can use any kind of money, can't you?
Very well.
Interns, I think, get around $8 a month, don't they?
A little more than that.
Not much.
Not much.
Here we go. This is a test on concentration. Listen carefully. A streetcar starts out with 20 passengers. Got that? The first stop, it drops 2 and picks up 3. At the next stop, 4 people get on and nobody gets off. Then it takes on 4 and loses 4. Next, it loads 5 and unloads 6. Then 6 get off and nobody gets on. And then it comes to the end of the line. You follow me carefully?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll give you a $20 bill if you can tell me how many stops the streetcar made.
7.
7, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
No, it was 6. Were you counting those as we went along?
I thought I counted the first one, too.
Yeah, there were only 7 counting. There were only 6 counting the end of the line.
Okay.
You missed it by 1. However, you were so close, and you're an intern, and someday you may be standing over me. You get the $20. See you after the show. Do you think people are funny? If you're still not convinced, listen to what we'll do in just a moment.
Hi, this is Dorothy Olson. Summertime is picnic time, and picnics are a good way to have a happy family time. Somehow food just tastes better outside. Picnics are easy in this day and age. One quick sweep through your corner grocery store and you've got all the fixings. Want a quick menu idea? You don't even have to write it down. You'll remember it. Pick up a can of your favorite luncheon meat. Slice it about an inch thick and alternate each slice with a section of canned pineapple. Wrap it in aluminum foil and pop it into the barbecue grill. Simple? That's about as fancy as you have to get to make your picnic meals imaginative. Of course, there are always the old standbys that are so wonderful. Roasted franks, charcoal broiled hamburgers, or steaks. My. And potato salad is so easy to make. And many places now you can buy it ready-made. Let's go on a picnic. Today. Summertime is outdoor eating time.
Well, that does it for tonight. But next week on People Are Funny, a waitress, a woman cab driver, and a society matron. And one bewildered woman trying to sort which is which. See if you can do it next week. Good night, everybody.
This is NBC.
Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad? You used Dial. Don't you wish? Don't you wish? Everybody did. Dial soap.
Well, there you go. 66 years ago, July 23rd, 1958, People Are Funny on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Coming up next, Superman.
Friends, this is Jim Amici. About 40,000 lives a year needlessly lost. The circumstances were traffic accidents, but, says the National Safety Council, the causes were human. Human failure to pay attention to the road and weather conditions, to slow down when needed, or even to care whether you arrive safely. Make safe driving your responsibility.
Let's wrap up the fur smuggling story of Superman going back 83 years, July 23rd, 1941.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice.
And now to our story. When we last saw Clark Kent, he had left Jimmy Olsen and Batiste, their French-Canadian guide, in the forest clearing, while he and Chuck, one of the fur smuggling gang who had given himself up, returned to the gang shack deep in the snow-covered woods. Unknown to Kent, Chuck was only carrying out a clever plan devised by Bull Raglan, leader of the smuggling gang. A plan to get Kent away from Jimmy and Batiste. The minute Kent disappeared into the forest, Bull entered the clearing, held Jimmy and Batiste at gunpoint, forced them to drive the dog sled to a spot some miles away, tied them hand and foot, and dumped them into a dark cave. Helpless, they lay there, wondering whether they would ever be released. And then suddenly the low, ominous growl of an animal echoed through the cave, the angry protest of a full-grown bear. Terrified, Jimmy stared into the darkness as the huge beast came closer and closer. Meanwhile, Clark Kent, unaware that his friends are in peril, has found the shack empty with no sign of Bull. Listen.
I thought you told me your boss was here. Where is he? Why, I don't know, mister. He was here when I left. Where did you tell him you were going? Oh, to look for them furs Frenchie dropped last night. Frenchie? Who's Frenchie? Well, he's the guy that pilots the plane. Oh. How often does he fly over and drop bundles of skins? Oh, maybe once a week. That's so. You've got your smuggling racket pretty well organized, haven't you? How should I know? I just work for the guy. He don't tell me nothing. Wait a minute. What is this, Chuck? A few minutes ago, when you came into the clearing waving a white flag, you were ready to talk about anything and everything. Your boss, the smuggling racket, and how you didn't want any blood on your hands. Now you've shut up like a clam. What's the idea? All right. Ain't got nothing to talk about, that's all. Now, listen. Don't try and pull anything on me. Oh, I ain't trying to pull nothing. Honest, mister. I wonder. You said Bull was here at the shack, and he isn't. I tell you, I left him here. Why do you keep looking around as though you were expecting someone? Oh, me?
Yes. Your eyes shift to the window every couple of seconds. Now, look, Chuck, you'd better come clean or there'll be trouble.
Oh, now, you got me wrong, mister. I told you all I know. I told you I'm quitting the racket. What more do you want?
I want the truth.
Oh, you got it.
Maybe. Is that all you've been smuggling? Furs?
Well, that's all I know about.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess the only thing to do is sit and wait for your boss to return.
Now, you better watch out. He's got a rifle and he ain't afraid to use it.
I'm not afraid of rifles, Chuck. You know how water rolls off a duck's back?
Yeah?
Well, that's how rifle bullets bounce off me.
It ain't nothing to joke about. I don't like shooting.
You don't have to worry about any shooting.
That's right, mister. I'll do all the worrying.
Oh.
Don't move. Close the door, Chuck.
Well, I take it you're Bull.
That's what they call me, brother. Nice work, Chuck. Fell for it like a ton of bricks, didn't you?
What did I fall for?
Chuck's crybaby act. Figured he was double-crossing me, didn't you? Nobody double-crosses Bull Raglan.
I see. All right, I fell for it. Now what?
Now we're going to talk business. You and me.
I'm afraid your method of doing business isn't mine.
I think we can get together. Sit down.
I prefer standing, if you don't mind.
That's me. Hey, Chuck, take the rifle. Keep it on him. If he tries anything, let him have it. What? I told you I don't like shooting, Bull. You heard what I said. Take the rifle. Okay. Now, mister, here's the story. You stuck your big nose into my business, and I don't like it, see?
That's too bad.
You bet it's too bad. Too bad for you and your pal.
Stop beating around the bush. What do you want?
I got what I want. My mixed skin and your pal.
And my... What are you talking about?
I kind of figured you'd wake up sooner or later. That kid and your Canuck driver, I got 'em safely stowed away.
If you laid a hand on either of them...
Keep back. Watch him, Chuck.
Now I understand why you sent your sniveling henchmen to bring me here. So you could get at Jimmy and Baptiste.
You government guys sure are smart. I ought to give you a gold star.
Now look, my crooked friend, I'm warning you. All the rifles in the world won't stop me once I decide to handle you the way I think you should be handled. Where are Jimmy and Baptiste?
That's my business. Keep him covered, Chuck.
Keeping me covered won't do you a bit of good.
Stand back. Stand back, I tell you. Give it to him, Chuck.
Moved too fast for you, didn't I, Chuck? I'll take that rifle if you don't mind. You don't like shooting anyway. We'll toss it out the window just so you won't be tempted again.
Close in on him, Chuck. Use your knife.
Come on, close in on me. Use anything you wish. Well, what are you waiting for?
Rush him, Chuck.
That's just a little sample, Bull. Here, try this on the point of your jaw. It's your turn now, Chuck.
Oh, yeah?
Look out for that knife. You're liable to cut yourself. Let's get rid of it, huh?
You're breaking my arm.
Drop the knife. Drop it, I said. That's better.
I give up. Don't hit me.
You gave up once before, and it wasn't on the level.
Bull made me do that. I didn't want to.
All right. I'll give you one more chance. Get some water and bring him to.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot myself for a minute there and used my natural voice. I hope neither of them caught it.
Here's some water.
Pour it over his face.
Yeah. He'll come close to knocking his head off. I never seen anybody hit so hard.
Yeah, he's coming too. Let's sit him up on the chair.
There, that's it. What hit me?
I did. And it was only a small part of what you're going to get unless you tell me what you've done with Jimmy and Baptiste.
You better tell him, Bull.
Not a chance.
Oh, no? All right, get up on your feet.
Bull, he'll murder you.
This time you won't regain consciousness so fast.
Wait, I'll tell you.
Talk fast.
I lied to you. The kid and the Canuck driver got away from me in the dog sled. I tried to stop them, but my rifle jammed.
Which way did they go?
Looked like they was heading back to town.
Is that the truth?
Yeah, it's the truth.
Is he lying, Chuck?
I know, mister.
Why, you dirty little... There you are. It won't take long to find out whether or not you're lying. Both of you are coming back to the clearing with me. If Jimmy and Baptiste did get away in the sled, there'll be marks in the snow.
I'm not going no place.
That's what you think. Stand up. Stand up, I said. All right, I'll lift you up. Open the door, Chuck. All right, now march, both of you. And don't try to get away. You'll regret it if you do. Go ahead. Now, leave that rifle just where it is, Bull, in the snow. You lead the way, Chuck. Don't forget, I'm watching every move you make, so don't make any wrong ones.
Unaware that Jimmy and Batiste did not escape, but are at this very moment tied hand and foot in a dark cave some miles from the clearing, Kent follows the two smugglers as they move slowly along the narrow forest trail. Instinctively, he suspects something is wrong. But even the amazing powers of Superman cannot warn him that Jimmy and Batiste, helpless in the cave, are in danger of being attacked by an angry bear. Huddled in the darkness, they wait. The huge animal lumbers toward them, growling ferociously.
Batiste, I can see his eyes shining in the dark.
He comes closer. Try not to move.
Batiste, what are we going to do?
I do not know, Mopti.
Only one of us could get loose. We might frighten him off by throwing rocks or something.
He is big one. We do not frighten him with hook.
I can hear him breathing. Batiste, he's almost on top of us. Why can't we yell at him?
No.
I'm going to try.
Oh! Do not do this again.
What can we do? Batiste, there must be something.
I can't blood. Please hope that this will die.
Batiste, look out, he's on top of you.
Fighting courageously against overwhelming odds, Batiste makes a valiant but hopeless attempt to do battle with the giant grizzly. Meanwhile, Clark Kent has reached the clearing, found the tracks of the departed dog sled, and is following them, accompanied by the two first smugglers, Bull and Chuck. Less than half a mile from the cave where Jimmy and Batiste are in peril, Bull suddenly stops short.
That's as far as I'm going. I told you they headed for town.
You've told me a lot of things, none of which I put any stock in. Keep walking.
Nothing doing. I'm stopping right here.
There must be something you don't like up ahead. What is it?
The only thing I don't like is hiking through the snow.
Huh. Well, whether you like it or not, you're... Wait a minute. Well, I heard someone shouting for help. I don't hear nothing. Maybe... Quiet, Chuck. Yeah, someone is shouting for help.
You're crazy. It's the wind.
We'll see how crazy I am. Get going.
Not me.
I said get going.
Nothing doing.
I'm warning you, Bull.
Yeah?
Yes. You knocked him cold. That's right. Now, how about you? I'll do anything you say.
Good.
All right, I'll carry him. Yeah. Now, come on the run. Never seen a guy as strong as you, mister. Bull must weigh a good 200 pounds, and you're carrying him like he's a feather. Running, besides. Here, let me give you a hand. Oh, I'm all right. He's not so heavy. You ain't sure you heard someone yelling for help, are you? That's what it sounded like. Here, wait, hold up. Listen. You hear that? Yeah, I hear it. It's coming from that cave. It's Jimmy. Chuck, this is your chance to make up for everything you've done. Now, you stay here with him while I go into the cave to see what's wrong. I don't think he'll come to so fast this time. But if he does, don't you let him get away, even if you have to knock him out again. Okay. And don't cross me up if you value your life. I won't. I swear I won't. I'll be back.
Answering Jimmy's cry for help, Kent sprints toward the cave, unaware of what is going on in the darkness beyond the entrance. Unaware that within a moment he will be called upon as Superman to do battle with a full-grown bear. Is he too late to save Batiste from the savage fury of the huge animal? Listen to the next episode for thrills galore.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
July 23rd, 1941, Superman, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Tomorrow, the Chase and Sanborn Hour, Earl Stanley Gardner's A Life in Your Hands, an episode of American Portraits, and Love and Abner. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday. Have yourself a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. For more Classic Radio Theater, I'm Wyatt Cox.